I'm a big football fan. You know, I like my football, and I normally carry referees' cards in my pocket, a yellow card and a red card. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it here. I've given the media man a yellow card by now. You know, please stay on your toes. Anyway, just a little bit about what the police does. To be honest with you, I'm very, very critical about the police, not only in this country, the police generally. I used to have a very, very fantastic relationship with a man who was the first PRO of Benue State when I started as a journalist. And he used to always tell me, the police is your friend. Now, I never believed that, because anytime I was driving, the police stopped me at the checkpoint. You know, I said, well, if you're my friend, why are you disturbing me? But when I watched that video last night, it just set me thinking about how misunderstood the police, especially in Nigeria, is. And I'm guilty of that as well. I'm sure there are many of us who are guilty of that here. The police in Nigeria, because we have no idea what they go through, how bad some of the things they experience are, we tend to judge them on the surface level. You know, but that video brought me back to earth, telling me that the police actually does more than what I see. But I'm not the person to tell you what the police does. I'm going to invite on the stage now AIG Solomon Arase, who's just going to come and give us a brief lecture, a very, very brief lecture on intelligence sharing amongst agencies. When Powell was talking earlier on, he mentioned the presence of the representatives of the chiefs, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Air Staff. All the representatives are here because they all know that it is a job they all do together. So, AIG Solomon Arase, if you kindly come on stage, a round of applause for him, please, as he walks up. He's going to give us a short lecture on intelligence sharing amongst agencies. How do these agencies work together? Thank you very much.
Precious, where are you? Please, be careful. Just hold your camera, please. Where are you? Precious. Constato is moving up and down now.
Let me stand on the existing protocols. I have no intention to bore you with the intellectual underpinnings of intelligence sharing and collaboration. Today is my boss's day, so I'm going to be as brief as I can. I will just talk briefly on the clarification between what is information and what is intelligence. I will briefly highlight the issues in intelligence, interagency collaboration and intelligence sharing. I will talk about the factors underlying intelligence rivalry and poor intelligence sharing, both internationally and nationally. Then I will talk more extensively on the initiative of IGP MD Abubakar, CFRO, NPM, MNI. And I will also suggest strategies towards strengthening intelligence sharing framework in Nigeria. It's always very easy to confuse what is information and what is intelligence. Information, I would leave information alone. I will just tell you what intelligence is and what is not. Intelligence is the process of collecting, organizing, analyzing, and utilizing information to guide law enforcement, operational, and tactical decisions. It's also a policing model that is built on risk identification, risk analysis, and risk management. For intelligence-led policing virtues to be well rooted in internal security management, there is a need for a well-trained, equipped, and professionally competent intelligence unit that enjoys community support, just as the governor said, and confidence cooperation of other security agencies. What are the issues in intelligence collaboration and intelligence sharing? Intelligence is valuable only if it can be shared with customers who need them. So, there is need to share and need to know. It is a restricted thing. The president, when he was commissioning the new building, National Intelligence Agency in Abuja recently, he said this, which underpins the what we are talking about this evening. He said, what I noticed, it may not be quite right, is that our intelligence services are not sharing information. They operate in isolation, and it's not helpful to government. But it is not common with our own jurisdiction alone. Internationally, they have also had issues of lack of collaboration in intelligence sharing. The 9/11 terrorist bombing, most of the intelligence agencies, they got the information, they had all the eyes, but they could not put it together to ensure that that incident did not take place. The recent Boston Marathon bombing that happened in Boston, the USS Arrow got the information, but they did not share with the United States of America, and that is why it happened. So in intelligence experts, they call this lack of collaboration and in sharing intelligence as the uncoordinated lack of action. When actions are not coordinated, what you have is internal security breakdown. What are the advantages of intelligence agency collaboration and sharing? If you are able to share intelligence between all the security agencies, it means we are staying a step ahead of our adversaries. Intelligence sharing and interagency collaboration, according to the president, again, I want to quote him, is like the human body. You may have your arms, your legs, or nose. When any member is sick, it affects the whole body. For the body to work, every member is expected to function optimally, and as such, the country's intelligence agencies should complement their services in order to protect the government. I have just quoted the president again. So what are those factors underlying interagency rivalry and poor intelligence sharing? Bureaucratic inertia. If a director of SSS, for instance, in a place like Delta, gets an information that has to do with internal social disorders, one will expect that he will be able to share with his commissioner of police here. But if he has to wait for that information to be processed to his DG in Abuja, or the commissioner of police to get directive from the IG in Abuja, the incident that they are trying to to prevent must have happened before they are able to share. So what we think we should advocate in this country is that apart from having a horizontal sharing formula, there should also be a vertical sharing formula. So that if even operatives at the local government, if they have an information, they can act on it immediately while they send the information to say, this is exactly what we have done. The next thing that I talked about here is the wall, the critical and psychological states of the mind of security professionals, which engenders interagency rivalry and distrust. It is a human thing for all of us to think that we are the best. So every agency that is operating within the security space, you always think that you are the best. And if you have that behind your mind that you want to outshine the other person, then you are jeopardizing the lives of Nigerians. There's also organizational culture, then non-uniform professional standards, orientation, and procedures. The procedures of training our security agencies, our various security agencies in the country, they differ. We don't have a uniform procedure for actually training our professionals. So because we don't have, it's always very difficult for us to know how to go about these issues. Then there's no legal framework. We don't have a legal framework. Then the absence of a national strategy for intelligence sharing. I would prefer the panacea to that at the end of my paper. Then lack of a central intelligence processing center, just as you have in the United States. After the 9/11, they had to go back to the drawing board to say, what are those things that are actually militating against the effect